Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. It is Friday, October the 18th. This is probably, going to be the last Canadian political reading I do regarding the election. Once the election is said and done, if there still remains an interest, I will continue to follow Canadian politics and offer readings on that if there's an interest in that happening. Okay, so here we go, Canada. It's time to vote. It is time to bring in a new government. It is time to shift and change the energy of the country. So let's see what that looks like. Honestly, this reading is probably going to be more intuitive than tarot. But, come on down and let's just see what we get. Let's go. Okay, I have a question. And my question is, Canadian political election, Canadian political election, Canadian political election. Okay. All right. So this is actually kind of interesting because what it's talking about is it's talking about things coming to light. It's talking about the curtain being pulled back so that there is some clarity about what we are seeing, what we are voting for, and why we are voting the way we are voting. It's as if there has been a little bit too much delusion going on here lately. There have been, just distortions. So about a month or so after, as a quick aside, about a month or so after the Alberta election when Kenny was elected, the financial, oh goodness, I forgot. The people who check the finances, the double check kind of the budget and how everything is going, came out with a report, and they basically said that for the Alberta government, the Conservative parties, and it's not even the Conservative Party because it's the United Conservative Party, I think, under Jason Kenney. Irregardless, they had overestimated, they had increased the amount of debt that Alberta was actually in because it served their purpose. This morning, the Ontario financial watchdog, that was the word I was looking for, came out with his report and said that, in fact, the deficit that Ford was insisting there was in Ontario was not even close to the number he was quoting. So what is happening is there's all these little pieces that are coming out that are starting to make, some inroads in terms of how people feel about that Conservative Party. The behavior is too close to Trumpian. And for a lot of Canadians, especially those who have been following the U.S. political situation, that is like a huge, huge red flag with flashing strobe lights even. Okay, so these cards are interesting because it's talking about a change of fortune from as things stand now. And they're talking about a coming to the end of one cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. So that is exactly how you would describe, an election. One party ends that term and something changes and then it moves forward again. Because this victory card is following this, and this clearly is about the Liberals, I'm going to suggest that the Liberals have a very good chance of winning this election in a minority coalition government. I've said that from the get-go, and nothing has changed to sort of change the energy that I'm receiving about that. Here's the coalition government coming together. It's two sides serving and balancing each other's agendas. The election results, expect them to be known fairly quickly in the evening. I don't feel that this is going to drag on and on and on. Certainly, the information I'm getting at this point is that both Ontario and Quebec are leaning quite strongly Liberal. And and given the fact that they've had a year and a half, however it has been, certainly Ontario with that Ford nightmare, it would not be surprising that a lot of people aren't so anxious for yet more of the same country-wise. So I'm definitely going to say it looks like the truth is going to come out about things that went on behind the scenes, political maneuvering, that kind of thing. That will come out in time. But for right now, we're looking at, I'm pretty sure, a Liberal government. So, if it's a Liberal government, let's see if we can find out who is going to join that coalition to form the new government. Now, I have heard, and I'm sure most of you have, that the NDP under Jasmeet Singh has experienced a bit of a an uptick, and that's in part because he actually did really well on some of the debates. I mean, there's always going to be critics because, I don't know, maybe that's just the way we're made up as humans. But overall, he sort of made people kind of take a second look at him and his party. So that's kind of that. And as far as I understand, May is sort of a wee little bit stagnated at this point. So let's take a look at coalition government. See who is going to come together, to make that happen. Here comes the Wheel of Fortune again. Yeah, okay. So this is talking about, I believe this is talking about the Green Party. They have support. They are almost seen like as the shining star. They're seen like, unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess, a lot of Canadians view them sort of as the next government, the next time around, they are going to be able to build a bigger coalition and they are going to have more say. So it's almost as if the Green Party continues its growth in a forward movement. They're taking away lessons that they've learned from this experience and they're going to amplify them and grow on them and, figure out in part how to make their message a bit more universal, because there tends to be that sense of, and I think I've said this before, when you have a sort of a one issue party, all of the other issues always seem to tie back to their core issue. And sometimes you need a slightly more expanded or wider vision when you're talking about an entire country, especially one the size of Canada, especially one with the kind of diversity we have. This is, to me, looking like the NDP party. It is like they're showing that they had a really strong showing. Their ideas, their thoughts started to gain some significant traction, and they're making people feel good, okay? There is more of a sense of comfort with them, or a sense that they would be that they would work well with the Liberals, I think is part of the logic that is going on. They changed a lot of people's minds. Over the course of this election, they brought more people onto the team. They have people looking at them in a slightly different light. And for a lot of people who really liked the Green Party, but didn't feel that there was enough sort of diversity there. The NDP is sort of like the next obvious choice, because they do have a environmental plan. It may not be as extensive as hers, as the Green Party's, but it is way, way better than Andrew Scheer and his let's just strip the country of all of its mineral assets and make money. So, balance. And it appears that the government that comes in and that gets sworn in is, we've got two, right? We've got two coming together. It is not going to be a majority government. It appears that what's coming in is going to bring a sense of balance, a sense of moving forward with purpose, which I think is something that the Canadian people are looking for and are interested in seeing. But again, there is not, it just doesn't feel like the Conservatives are going to have the momentum to make it happen. It feels very much like Liberals and NDP. For right now, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm going with. Some people are going to be disappointed, and that is going to have to be addressed. But if people are prepared to listen to the message, there will be messages of inclusion and trying to bring people who did not agree into the fold, so that Canada stays more united than diverse. Because honestly, these conservative governments really, really are starting to push that whole them, us. And it's like I have said from the beginning, this election is about we versus me. It just is as simple as that. Canadian people are interested in finding out what is being done for the country, what is being done for the collective. Everybody, of course, has their individual wish lists and things that, they would hope would happen or be addressed or looked at. But overall, the attitude is a little bit more inclusive and a little bit more, let's make what we have last. Let's be cautious about how we use our resources, how we move forward in an environment where the environment is a huge concern, in an environment where there is a lot of divisiveness being kind of thrown out, and that is not the way in which we want to see our politics, bottom line. Okay, we're just not interested in a sort of a Trump government here. So one more, I'm going to do just a really quick shuffle, and I just sort of have a question. And my question is going to be this. What is the overall message that Canadians should take to the voting polls on Monday? What should they be mindful of? And what should they consider if they have not decided in casting their vote? So come on down. Message for Canadian voters, message for Canadian voters, message for Canadian voters. Wow. So like these 3 of these cards have shown up in the other spreads I just did, right? So it is talking about very often this card is seen as a theft card, right? Somebody taking something and sneaking away. But in this case, I'm reading it very much as having gained some wisdom, learned their lessons, being prepared to move forward. There is a just result. And so if people are looking at this government and thinking about not only what they would like to see, but what is best for the greater good. I mean, what is best? Okay, maybe, you want something and it's important to you. And that's great. But make sure that while you're busy thinking about what you want, that you're also busy thinking about what your children, your grandchildren, your nephews and nieces want too. Because we are the guardians of their future. And honestly, in some ways, we really haven't done a great job. So this is a time to stop sort of paying lip service and actually give some serious consideration to what we actually want our country to stand for, represent, and what we want our focus and attention to be on. There's going to be very much a sense that there's going to be some interesting sort of ideas and attitudes coming down the line within a coalition government that is going to sort of expand the ideas of we and not so much me. There is going to be an energy surge moving forward that can only be seen as positive. And again, you have some people who are going to be really disappointed. But that's called a democracy, right? Where we vote as a country and the majority rules. So they're saying, take a good look, evaluate what's in front of you, make the best choice that you can for a leader or for a ruling party, and know that there is strength in numbers, there is strength in truth, and there is strength in not going low, in not taking that sort of low road, of not bringing politics down to a level that we don't want seen in this country. So, let's do one more cut and see if there's anything else to be said. Yeah, truth is going to come out. Look at all of these cards are repeats of ones that came up in the previous 2-layer reading shuffles. And honestly, you saw me shuffle them. Okay, so again, be very clear about what you're doing. Be very mindful of what you're doing. This literally is interesting. This one is saying get out and vote. Group activities. Come on, Canada, let's get out and let's take charge of our government and take charge of our future. And again, there will be some new attitudes, some fresh ideas, from new ways of approaching things coming into our future. So if that is the case, we are certainly then not looking for a government who is interested in going back to the way things were. So, Cindy's prediction, coalition government, Liberals, NDP. I don't know. I guess we'll know on Monday if I was right or not. In the meantime, vote, vote, vote. It is important. It is important for you. It is important for your family, your city, your province, your country. It is important for the generations that follow us. Get out there, Canada. Go vote. Until next time, you take care, be well, and I'll see you really soon. I hope. Bye.